Welcome to our course, I'll Call You in Microsoft Teams. My name is Sarah, a training specialist here at Microsoft, and today we'll be exploring how to use Teams calling features to stay connected with your contacts and colleagues. After our session, you'll be able to use calling features, access your contacts, and call a one-on-one or group chat. So let's get started. So calls are at the core of what you can do in Teams. Now, out of the box, you can call anyone for free. You're connecting computer to computer, also known as VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, and you are connecting to their Teams or Skype for Business account, and anyone can set up a Teams account for free on their end. In Teams, you can start a call with someone, with a one-on-one or with a group of people, by selecting the video call or audio call button in chat. And you can also hover over someone's profile picture to initiate a call. And when someone calls you, you'll get a notification that lets you accept or decline that call. If you have a calling plan enabled, you can call anyone, including regular phones, standard phone numbers, and people can reach you in Teams from their phone lines as well. So you're using a PSTN network. Your IT admin can hook up your organization's licensed calling plan with Teams, and then in Teams, you'll have a dial pad option to dial phone numbers. So let's see Teams in action. Here we are in Teams. We're going to head on over to the left rail and click Calls. And if your organization has enabled the calls features in Microsoft Teams, you'll discover that it's a very clean and easy to use interface. In the bottom left corner, you'll have options for a dial pad. Again, this requires a licensed calling plan. It's something that your IT admin would set up. But here's where you could dial out phone numbers. And in the top left, you're going to have options like speed dial, and then also contacts, which is another way of viewing these contacts, just different versions. You have your history, which is your incoming calls, outgoing calls, missed calls. And then you'll also have voicemail, and this would be your voice messages as well as a transcript of that message. So we're going to click on one here. So we can see the voice message, we could play that, and then we can see the transcript. And it looks like this might have been a robocall. And you'll often see in Teams an ellipsis, 3 dots. That means there's more actions or more options. It means click me. So we'll go ahead and click this. One of the things you might want to do is actually block this message. Maybe this is a robocall, so we're going to block it. Or maybe you want to add this contact, add this phone number to your contacts, or call back options. You can mark the voice message as heard or read, or you could even delete it if you don't need it in your history anymore. So now let's take a closer look at contacts. And yes, we can add contacts, which is great. But before we go any further, we're going to want to take a moment to embrace that Teams is conversation driven. It's activity driven, rather than contact driven. And this is a shift from Skype for Business. If you have to be coming from that platform, the reason why this is important is because it provides you the opportunity to initiate a call from chat. From a one-on-one chat, you can start a one-on-one phone call. From a group chat, you can start a group call. It also means that everyone within your network is already accessible right from Teams, and your IT admin is managing that Active Directory. So let's jump back to chat and start here. And one of the first things you'll see in chat is a list of your conversations. You can have your favorite conversations pinned to the top, and then you'll have other conversations down below. So let's say you have a conversation with Alex. You can hover on the profile badge for Alex and get contact information. Maybe you want to start a chat, an email, or even initiate a video call or audio call. Also from this conversation on the far right-hand side, you're going to have options to start a video call or audio call. And if it's a group chat, so for example, I'm going to go over here to community outreach. With a group chat, again, you have an option to start a call, a video call, audio call for that group. And this particular group actually includes people inside and outside the network. We have a guest in this group, but you, again, can hover on profile information and find the contact information for that particular individual as well. Now, if you were starting fresh, if you were connecting with someone right out of the box, you can create a new chat. And if I was starting a conversation with Miriam, now remember, Miriam is part of my network, and your IT admin has already added all the people in your network into Teams. They're already added there as part of your Microsoft 365. You could hover on the profile badge and get contact information, or you could start a conversation, or you could use this chat feature as a way to continue and turn this into a call. And what if this was somebody maybe outside of your organization? So I'm going to get a contact here, somebody new, and I'm going to start a new conversation with my client called Betty, and I happen to have her email. Betty is external, not recognized by the tenant, but let's go ahead and put that name in there. We'll click down below. So now I could start a chat with Betty, or I could even start a conversation with Betty, and maybe even this could be not just one-on-one, but maybe adding people in a group text in there. So this is the idea of a conversation-based or activity-driven interface. But let's go back to calls, back to our contacts, and take a closer look at those contact options, because we can add contacts. So we're going to go ahead and add a contact, and let's start with somebody like Betty. So if I typed in Betty, now she's not recognized, she's external, she's not part of our network, but I could type her name in and add, and then just put in a phone number, and there's some other information I could add for her as well. So I could just add a phone number in. In fact, I think I could put one in here, just copy and paste it in. And there is Betty, she shows up. And I have the option to click on the ellipsis, right? More options, more actions. Maybe I want to remove the contact, edit the contact, add Betty to speed dial, for example. I'm going to go ahead and remove Betty here for a second. The other option you could do is you could bring in a person by an email address. So if we go ahead and add a contact in, and we put in this email address, and again, not recognized in our system, but recognized as a valid email address, so we could add Betty in that way. And it's a little bit different contact information because it's through a computer to computer, and it would be calling computer to computer or VoIP rather than through the phone line. And again, we have some options to remove that contact if needed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. Yes, I did want to delete. Bye, Betty. And then if you're bringing in somebody who's part of your network, for example, I brought in Miriam, who's already part of my network, Miriam would be recognized. This could be somebody internal or even a recognized guest. Oh, looks like I might already have, you know what, I already have Miriam in there, so that would make sense too. Let me try bringing in Henrietta. She is also internal, but not yet a contact, so I'll bring her in. And of course, I can always remove the contact. I'm not deleting Henrietta from my network, I'm just deleting her from my list of contacts. And any voicemail that you receive, if it has an actual phone number, could be added as a contact. Or in your history, if you have some outgoing calls, missed calls, and you want to add that person as a contact, you can do that as well. Use that ellipsis, that's those three dots, click it, and then you'll have options. You'll have more options to, in this case, add a contact. Now, your list of contacts is this compressed list, but if you go to speed dial, it's a different view, and it's a way to put your or promote your contacts to the top, the ones that you need easy access to. So here's one for Miriam. I can use the ellipsis to add her to speed dial. And again, you'll have an ellipsis here. You can go in and out for lots of times. You can create your own groups. So here's an option to create a new group. I actually created one called Comms for my communications team. And you'll see there's a lot of these ellipses. There's a lot of these dots, dots. And you'll see an option where you could manage that group as well. So if you wanted to add items, add members to this group, or if you want to remove folks from this group, just look for those 3 dots. That's where you can explore. Now we're going to go back to chat because there is some synchronicity in the contacts that you see here in calls and the contacts that are in chat. So we're going to jump over to chat. And we're going to use the drop down in the top left to check out contacts. This list of contacts is synced up with the list that you have in calls. So if you make any changes here at this view, it's also going to reflect in calls or vice versa. Down below, you can create a new contact group. And you'll also have that ellipsis option. So in this case, maybe you want to add items to the contacts or add items to the group, or you want to remove options, remove contacts from the group. There is one other bonus feature here. I'll use Pradeep. One little bonus option from this particular view, you can also turn on a setting that says notify when available. Well, let's try that, see what that does. So it says notify when available, and then there's also this ellipsis that says turn off notifications. So what that means is that when people come online, you'll actually get a pop-up, a little banner in the bottom right corner, or if you're on a Mac, it'll be the top right corner. And it'll tell you, hey, Pradeep is now online. Pradeep is, he's available. You can find him. And this is really actually just a shortcut to our notification settings. So let's see where those live. We're going to jump over to our profile badge to settings. We're kind of going the long way here, right? Profile badge to settings to notifications. And these are the people. So you can track someone's status and get notified when they appear available or offline. So if you click on edit, we added Pradeep, and this is just another way where I could modify that, whether I'm following Pradeep or not. So that's all done through your contacts here at the top. All right, I'm going to reset our view. Now, let's also take a closer look at the activity. It's an activity-driven platform, and we can not only find information about who is chatting with us or what were some of the replies, but we can also actually see information for voice messages and missed calls. And so in this activity feed, we're going to click on the filter. It looks like a funnel here. Click on this filter, and then we'll click the ellipsis to get more options. So you actually can filter by missed calls. This will give you a recent list of missed calls, or voicemail, a list of recent voice messages in there as well. And we're going to go ahead and remove that filter, click the X. Now you see a gear icon. The gear icon always means settings. When you see that icon in Microsoft, it means more settings. So let's click on that. And we were just here, right? So it's just another shortcut, another way to get back to these settings. Remember we were looking at people. But what I want to do is take this as an opportunity to explore the settings for calls. So here we are in calls. And one of the things you may want to set up with your calling options is, do you want the calls to ring you directly, or do you want the calls to forward? So they could ring you, and if they are ringing you, what happens? Are they ringing anybody else? A call group maybe. What happens if they're unanswered? You want to have it go to voicemail or nothing. And then also you could set it up so that it's not ringing you, it's just forwarding your calls, and then you have some options about what would happen if it's forwarding your calls. You can, of course, configure your voicemail, and you can also set your ringtones, and there's different events that could trigger a ringtone, a call that's direct to you, a forwarded call, a delegated call. And so now I want to show you another setting that's related to delegates. All right, so in the top left, we have our general settings, and then there's an option called manage delegates. So delegates can make and receive calls on your behalf. Click here. So far, I'm not supporting anybody, right? But these would be people that I might be supporting. And then I can also add delegates, or here's where you could add or remove delegates as needed. We'll go back to settings at the top. Let's also check out privacy since we're here. This would be handy if you're going to be utilizing these blocked call features. So if you block a call or block a contact, this is where you can see a list of that item. I'm also noticing an option right above here to block calls with no caller ID. Before I had that checked, I was getting some anonymous calls, right? And then if you needed to, you could actually unblock calls as needed. Now, there's one other feature I want to mention if you're using a desktop app. Right now, I'm logged in through a web app for demoing purposes. But if you were in a desktop app, you'd also see in this list here an option called Devices. And through the Devices setting, you can turn on noise suppression. That's a integrated built-in software feature that comes with Teams. And that could be a really useful tool to set up if you're making a lot of calls or having a lot of meetings through your Teams interface. All right, so let's jump back to chat. And we're going to actually initiate some calls. So we'll start with a group chat. I'm going to use our executive sync group here. And if we want to initiate a call, we can use our audio or our video. We have both options, and either way, we could change the devices. There's even another button that you'd see on your desktop that says share my screen. That's another option. But we'll go ahead and we'll jump in. And it's calling all these folks. I'm going to mute myself for a moment here. And give me a moment to add in some people. So I brought in a few other players into this game. So as we look at our participants, we can see that a few people have added or have joined the call, which is great. This call experience is actually very much like a meeting. It has many of the same features. You can change your devices. So you can turn your camera on and off. You can turn your speakers or your mic on and off. Use the ellipsis if you want to change some of those camera settings. So if we were all using video, we could do things like a gallery view, large gallery view, spotlight, pin, etc. Those videos, you could change your video background. That would all be visible here. You can also share your screen. So if you wanted to share your screen or a PowerPoint presentation or whiteboarding, these features are all available just like you would have in a meeting. You can also record. You can record these calls, have access to that, and it would be accessible through your chat. The chat conversation itself is available as well. So here's the chat history, and folks could continue adding to that conversation while they are talking and listening and sharing their screens. The one feature that's not here would be the meeting notes. So meeting notes is just for the meetings at this time, but keep in mind that it's very feature rich. There's lots of ways that you can stay connected and participate and engage people as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to end this call. And we'll have everybody else hang up. So that's the idea of a group chat. A one-on-one chat, so just a little bit different, but let's go ahead here, head over to our one-on-one chat. And we will call Alex. We'll make sure we have it set up. All right, looks good. Give Alex a chance to respond. And I'll let me show you what it looks like on his screen. So he has this option to accept. And I'm turning the mic off on my screen just so that I don't hear an echo in my head because of demoing purposes, right? But again, it's very similar to what we just saw. We have options to share our screen. One thing that's not here would be whiteboarding features at this time. However, you can use the Freehand Whiteboard feature. That's an app that can be added to your chat. And then if we look on the ellipsis, we don't have the meeting notes, but we can record, we can use video options if we're sharing our video. And we have a few extra features that are available here. Things like hold and transfer and consult then transfer. And there might even be some other features that you would see in your system. So hold would then hold all your video and audio and screen sharing, would suspend that until you resume the conversation. And if you're already in a call, you can answer or start a new call at any time. And then that would let you place this call on hold. So I could put on hold, and then I could go over my chat or my calls and call up Grady on a side conversation, and then simply resume when we're back ready to jump back in. There's also this option called call merge. So when a second call connects, you can merge it with the first call. You might see, let's go ahead and click here. You might see this item called transfer versus consultant transfer. So transfer would just move you straight over. Hey, Alex, let me move you over to Grady. And consultant is then transfer would let me first reach out to Grady and put a little music on the background. Say, hey, Grady, I got Alex on the line. Can I bring Alex over? So it's just a couple different nuances in there as well. And there may be some other features that you would see, for example, something like Parka Call. And that would be the ability to place a call on hold on one device and pick it up from another device as well. And then Teams would give you a unique code that you could use to retrieve that call. So you retrieve the park call, you could go to your speed dial tab and then click unpark and enter the park code. So there's some really great features that you can do here. But I'm going to go ahead and hang up this call. And that hangs it up on Alex's side as well. And as we're wrapping up, let's head over to help, because there's a lot of great resources that are integrated right into Teams. And when you go to help, I just went to the first line, the topics, but when you go to help, you might discover some items that are interesting to you, and you can go and browse them. But you can also use the search feature and you can type in keywords. So for example, if we typed in the keyword called voicemail, let's see what happens. We're going to see some help on how to set up that voicemail. So you can go back and remind yourself, what were the steps for that again? Or maybe let's try, we saw a lot of options that were relating to hold and park and transfer. So you could put in one of those keywords like hold, and it says put a call on hold or make multiple calls at the same time, and you can actually go deeper. We can just go ahead and look at some of these options in here to explore what that was. In fact, here's just one more. I'm just going to type in the keyword calls. 4 things to know about calls in Microsoft Teams. That seems pretty good. And so again, we have some really great resources that are just baked right in. And the best way to learn Teams is to actually just dive in and start using Teams. And so I'm going to give you a couple go-do activities to help you continue learnings. The first would be to review your call history. The second would be to manage your call settings, maybe your voicemail, your ringtones, your blocked callers, your delegates. Go and check those out. And then also use Microsoft Teams to video call your colleague. So thank you for viewing our training. We hope you had a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.